Okay, so I think they're trying to place her back into ours. So we'll start with Indiana for now. Are you ready?
Sure thing.
All right. If I can work this. Here we go. All right.
Well, good evening. I'm Jerry Rushton, PEDS Residency Program Director at Indiana IU. First off, we're really excited that you found pediatrics. I think it's a great field. You can see the excitement we have for our jobs, for teaching, for clinical care. And so just to say that off the bat, I would echo a lot of the comments. You'll probably hear the same themes. I've been program director 19 years and have a lot of friends across this region. We're very proud of how collegial that we are, and probably to put an echo on those things. But in our interest of time, keep us to our 3 or 4 minutes each. I'll jump into some of the things about IU. So program highlights, I think, first of all, patients are always your best teachers. So I think you heard some of those themes, and that's certainly true for Indiana. We are the main children's hospital for the state, get 90% of the referrals. So you will see everything from Amish population, Northern Indiana, large inner city population of Indianapolis, Latino, Spanish-speaking population, Burmese immigrants, kind of a wide spectrum. I'm a general pediatrician myself. We also train great researchers and specialists. IU is a place you can really be anything, do anything. So your patients, you will see great community network. We also work at an inner city, county level hospital, serving the working poor, recent immigrants. I think that's important for your training. And then, of course, you have those very complex patients that I think you really want to be exposed to for pediatrics, so that then from here you can go on to be a great specialist, researcher, community leader, advocate. We have residents all over the world as well. So really, first and foremost, excited about the patients we have that help you learn and grow in your 3 years in pediatrics. We're kind of a medium to large, mid-sized program, 25 residents per year. We do also have many combined residents, so large med peds, triple board for child psych, EM peds, neurology, neurodevelopmental, and genetics. I think there's some spillover to that because you get to rub shoulders with all these people in other programs. We also teach together. So I feel like our peds residents pick up a lot of genetics, neuro, and psych things that are really important to you as well. Would highlight Dr. Clapp as our chairman, is very excited about research. He's a world-class researcher. We're actually number 6 in pediatric departments in NIH funding. So we want research to be a broad tent from qualitative, bench, translational, and community research. The pandemic, it's hard. The last thing I'll highlight would be global health. We have a really rich 30-year partnership with Kenya. Also have gone all over the world to Central South America and have a lot of connections all over. Just finally echoing that we do have that family feel you heard at the intro. So we pride ourselves on being big enough to have opportunities, yet making sure you have a family feel and you won't get lost in the shuffle, whether you have a significant other partner, come as a single person, really kind of welcoming people from all over is what we're about. And Indianapolis is a very livable place that we really enjoy calling home. So I'll look forward to taking some other questions in the chat. Our residents will be joining later too, and I'll let us keep moving along, but thanks and glad you're interested in peds.
Thank you. All right. Our next program is Children's Mercy Hospital. Hopefully, is anybody here from Children's Mercy?
Absolutely. Can you hear me all right?
Okay.
Maybe see me? Yeah. So guys, I'm Ross Newman. I am the program director at Children's Mercy here in Kansas City. I apologize for being in my car, but life goes on the weekdays, and I thought I would just blur my background, but that's not working for me on the technology. So we will just roll with it. I'm excited for everyone that's on the call today. I know that the interview season and the match process is a balance of excitement and anxiety. And I hope that this session helps you all understand a little more about our programs so you can find that right match and that place where you're going to be truly successful in your residency to be that pediatrician that you want to be when you're done with your training. And so a couple program highlights that I can offer to see if Children's Mercy is that right program for you. I'll start with some things that surprise people about Children's Mercy, because we don't have the necessary university affiliation and that name recognition. And we are quite a large clinical entity and institution. We are a freestanding children's hospital here in Kansas City. I think we have 375 beds and a large presence across all the specialties. And like things that were already mentioned, we have a large referral area. Essentially, the kids of Western Missouri and Kansas come and get their tertiary care with us. So it goes back to what Dr. Rushkin was saying and others in the introduction, is you're going to see a lot of patients and a wide variety of patients at that freestanding children's hospital and at Children's Mercy Hospital. And that's important for your training. One of the huge pillars of being a successful resident and graduate of residency is seeing lots of well, lots of sick, and lots of specialty patients and everything in between. So one of the first things I tell people is that if you're not interested in rolling your sleeves up and learning at the bedside and seeing lots of patients to do that, we may not be the right program for you, because we have a pretty broad patient population you're going to see. We also have all the specialists, like most children's hospitals would. And so you're going to be exposed to specialists across every field. Our large referral area kind of demands that there are patients that are coming to see subspecialists within our system, and our residents are involved with all of the care of those patients. We train everything, again, similar to what Indiana and Dr. Rushkin just said. We have about half of our trainees going into general pediatric careers, which is everything from community pediatrics to urgent care work and things in between, and about half of our residents that go into subspecialty fellowship. We're definitely proud of our graduates. They carry our name well beyond their residency and do great across that spectrum. And part of that's because of the experts that they're exposed to in those patient populations. Part of it's from that mix of didactics and independent study that's important during residency. And part of that's from the clinical training that we're able to provide. A couple other highlights, so I don't take too much time, because I think you're going to hear some similar themes in that we are a mid-sized to large program, 24 residents per class, about 100 total when you add everything together. And then I do want to thank the group this year for adding diversity initiatives to the infographic. I think, we know that representation matters. We know that words matter. And if we're not talking about diversity, we're not improving that through the medical system, and we're not improving diversity for our patients who need that exposure. And so you can see this on our infographic. You can go to our website and find more information about how we're improving the diversity and the cultural competency of our residents, of our institution, and then hopefully taking better care of patients because of that. So again, I'm excited to meet more people and answer more questions, but I will pass it off to the next person.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Cleveland Clinic Children's.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. My name is Rupa Thakur. I'm one of the Associate Program Directors for the Cleveland Clinic Children's Residency Program. I will echo what my colleagues across the region have stated before. We are thrilled that you are considering pediatrics and considering our programs in particular. I would love to highlight a few things about our program for you. So of course, Cleveland Clinic is world-renowned, but people don't often think of Cleveland Clinic Children. So I just want to point out that actually our residency program was established in 1953. We have an integrated hospital model. So essentially we are a hospital within a hospital. We have over 300 pediatric attendings and all of the subspecialties represented, currently ranked in 10 out of 10 subspecialties by the US News and World Report. So there are ample opportunities for research and quality improvement in any of the fields that you might be considering for fellowship, as well as primary care and hospitalist medicine. We are a medium-sized program. We have 41 total residents and have been granted expansion to 45 residents by ACGME. We have a fast-growing research program. We have resident-led wellness committee plans, which they kind of focus on activities for our residents throughout the year and events. We are also currently enrolled in a GME program to pilot the immersion schedule. So ours is a 4+2 schedule, 4 weeks of inpatient blocks interspersed with 2 weeks of ambulatory blocks. We found that this actually helps to reduce burnout for our residents quite a bit, improves continuity of care for those who are on inpatient blocks by minimizing sign-outs, and overall just kind of adds some flexibility for our schedule. For those who are interested in global health. We have residents who have traveled all over the world for global health electives. We even have an annual trip to Peru that is led by some of our hospitalists. But you can go anywhere that you would like. It's really, a very customizable experience. We also have fellowships available in almost all of these subspecialties that we offer at the Cleveland Clinic. And our residents have gone on to fellowships across the nation at very prestigious fellowships. So I welcome any questions, but again, thank you so much for considering us. Thank you so much for thinking about pediatrics. We are so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. We will do the Q&A after all the programs are have presented. We will start now, follow with Loyola.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marcia. I'm the Pediatric Program Director at Loyola, and I want to just welcome everybody to the night. I'm also going to preface that my 3 young kids are in the background, so if you hear screaming, that's where it's coming from. So yeah, I wanted to echo what everyone else is saying, that Loyola is located right outside of Chicago, so it does get a broad spectrum of kind of diverse patients from an underserved patient population right around Maywood, and then we have satellite clinics all throughout Illinois. So we get referrals from all different kind of community hospitals over to our hospital. We are a medium-sized, kind of small to medium-sized program with 10 residents per year and 4 med peds residents. So that really gives you kind of really family feel sense when you're here. And the best part of it is that you get direct attending to resident teaching. So we only have fellows up in the NICU. We have a very strong community involvement through the program just because of the location that we're in. And so we have a community kind of training track where you can work on a lot of community-based projects looking at social determinants of health and things like that, which is what our residents are focusing a lot on these days. And so we have a lot of elective time built into the schedule during your 3 years of training to really let you have an individualized training program during your 3 years, including research, community stuff, advocacy, etc. We have created a diversity and inclusion group last year, which really focuses on building kind of awareness about other different cultures. And we've had some grand round speakers come talk to us about different areas of social determinants of health. And as far as kind of graduates, we usually actually get a third, where a third would go into primary care, a third go into fellowship, and match kind of like all across the country. And then also now a third going into hospitalist medicine. So really just kind of a wide variety from that aspect. And then we've implemented a bunch of changes, because one thing I like to focus on is just resident-led changes. And so the biggest thing that I think the residents appreciate is kind of our wellness focus. And so we created having a wellness half day each year for a class during an elective, so they can go like see the doctor and make appointments and things like that. So I think the residents have really appreciated that, to just have that break to kind of do everything else outside of life. So I think that's it. I wanted to, again, welcome questions at the end. And if you have any things, in our Instagram and stuff is on the bottom. So thank you.
All righty, thank you. Next up, we have Central Michigan.
Hello, everybody. My name is Roland Chu. I'm the program director at Central Michigan, and I guess we're probably the most unique in the sense that we are actually applying to be a new program. So Saginaw, Michigan is in the northern part of Michigan, and we're the catchment area for all of northern Michigan, as well as the thumb area of Michigan for the people who know the mitten. And so they've had programs in other residency programs and other specialties, and has been mainly family medicine led, but not a pediatric residency program. And we are in the process of establishing a pediatric program to rebuild the community, to build the community-based pediatric practices that need to happen in this area as well too. So we just went through our site review, and we hope to hear that we are approved at the end of September, and hope to be interviewing for October. We are a very small program. We plan on starting with 4 residents a year and phase it in. So we're currently staffed with family medicine residents that will phase out as the pediatric residents phase in. And we really want to be mainly a community-based program. So we have a rotation set up in the community in Saginaw, the Great Lakes Bay region, and we do have some rotations set up for developmental pediatrics in Ann Arbor, which is only an hour away, and some programs down at Children's Hospital of Michigan in Detroit. Some of our focuses, we have general pediatricians. We have 7 pediatricians, and one of the focuses is that we wanted, they have a model for centering parenting where they try to have really lead the spectrum from expecting mothers to becoming, having their children, and then really leading their care in a model where they come regularly and get their teaching to be successful in being parents. And I think one of the other focuses that we have is in Saginaw that they have a child adolescent psychiatry program for training, and that we hope, as we all know, that the pandemic has led to a lot of mental health issues in pediatrics, that we really want to lean on our strength here and really build a program where the child adolescent psychiatry program will help guide and teach our pediatric residents how to do this in the community as well too. We recognize that we don't have any residents for you guys to talk to, so we're sorry about that. But we're hoping, although we're going to be mainly a general pediatric residency program, we will have tracks so that for people who are interested in subspecialty or hospital medicine, that we would focus on developing individualized learning tracks so that they can be able to further on their careers. And as Saginaw is a very diverse community, the faculty are all diverse. And so one of the things that the family medicine program has started to do to try to build mentorship is that they are going out into the high schools in the area and really trying to build mentorship with one-on-one with students, and that we hope to also augment that by sending the pediatric residents out to the community as well too. And I think that's all I have to say. So thank you for giving us this platform to introduce ourselves.
Thank you. Very informative. Our next university is Minnesota.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm Emily Borman-Shope. My programs are she, her. I am the program director at the University of Minnesota, entering my 10th year here. Yeah, I think you're starting to see some themes, right? The Midwest vibe comes through. Unique features of our program, we're located in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area. So it's a pretty big city, about 3 million people. So you're going to see a lot of variety, and you get to practice in a number of different settings. We're a multi-site program, so you get the opportunity to work in a urban underserved county hospital, 2 freestanding community-based children's hospitals, and a quaternary care specialty hospital at the University of Minnesota. So you really get an incredibly broad range of experiences that kind of set you up to build your expertise in whatever the future holds for you, whether that's outpatient general pediatrics in a suburban setting, urban general pediatrics, interventional cardiology, global pediatrics, you name it. We're really proud of our global health track. It's very well established, and they've really been leaders along with many of our colleagues here in the Midwest in establishing what it means to deliver a high quality global health program. We have about 6 partner sites around the country, with Uganda being one of our main partner sites. We've also done quite a bit of work with some of the local Native American communities, and have a experience in Rosebud, South Dakota, that many of our residents have found really rewarding to give back and participate for that community. We really work hard to be flexible. One of the things I say about our electives, we have a catalog with probably 45 choices. Our residents have 10 electives over the course of their residency. And I joke sometimes that I've never said no. If somebody says, gosh, I'm thinking I want to do a gender health elective and maybe spend a little time learning about legislative advocacy at the Capitol, I say, great, let's do it. And here's the people we're going to talk to. So I think there's a lot of opportunity if you're a person who has big ideas, or you don't even know if you have big ideas yet, but you love to learn and see what the future holds in pediatrics. I feel confident we'd have a lot of opportunities for you. Definitely family friendly. We're really proud that our whole university as a system does 6 weeks of paid parental leave for both the birth parent and the non-birth parent. So a lot of flexibility and support for new parents. Really flexible vacation policy. You can take your vacation 1 day at a time, like real grown-ups do. That's what I say. You don't have to do it in 1 or 2 week chunks. From a diversity perspective, we had our trainees participating on our department's DEI council for several years, but realized that we really needed to create a safe space for the trainees to talk about the experiences that were unique to them, either the learning environment or the things they were seeing with patients and families. So we formed a explicitly named Trainee Diversity Council that has 3 faculty mentors who are not me. In case there are things that I'm doing that are a problem, I need to know so I can make it better. And I really let them choose what they wanted us to work on. So our main projects so far have been enhancing support for our IMG trainees. We're going to be launching a health equity elective this upcoming year, and then looking at our evaluation and feedback process and working to eliminate any bias that may be there. And whatever else the future holds, we're always learning and innovating. I think that's one of the great features of our program. Sort of medium to large size, 26 residents per year, big med peds program. They're amazing colleagues to work alongside. We have a physician scientist training pathway if that is of interest. I hope you'll check out our website. There's tons and tons of information there, and just would echo what the other PDs have said. We're just excited for you. Pediatrics is just the best field. We all think so. And you've found your way to the best region. So it's a good night. You can just feel excited for what the future holds. And we're excited to see where your next steps take you.
Thank you. We're excited too. Let's see. Oh, I think that's it. Okay. All right. So we're going to open up to questions. You're welcome, any of the students, to put in the chat, or if you want to open your mic and ask any of the programs. So you guys, let's see. Is there any messages here? Okay. Anyone have questions?
I'll go ahead and start if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, first off, my name is Somi Singh. I'm a 4th year medical student from Kansas City University. I loved hearing from all the programs here. I'm currently in Chicago, so my question's for Dr. Ma from Loyola. I'm wondering, within like the Chicago area, there's lots of wonderful programs, but what makes Loyola stand apart, or what's unique to your program?
Yes, that's a really good question. So you are correct. There are numerous pediatric training programs in Chicago. So ours is different from a lot of them for a few things. One, we're not downtown in Chicago, so we're not in kind of that catchment area. We get a lot of patients from outer suburbs, and then our size is not huge. So with a class size of 10, you really get, it's just a different feel for the training program. So you get a lot more community involvement and direct attending teaching, which is something that, you know, if there's fellows and things like that, some people prefer having fellows there and some people prefer not. So if you're looking for a program that doesn't have fellows, then we're a great program for that. And so I think all of our attendings are really dedicated to the residents, and it's a non-intimidating teaching environment. So that's kind of what makes us stand apart from the other programs downtown and stuff.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to make some questions or put them in the chat? You're welcome to type them in the chat too if you're shy.
Everyone, Anna Aguilar here. I'm a 4th year medical student from OUHCOM. Apologies for my camera not working. I don't know what's going on with my computer. I was just wondering, for all of the programs, what does the global health experience look like with the pandemic?
I'd be happy to comment, and others will as well. One of the things that we were able to draw upon is really robust online learning modules. So we've been able to focus on some of that. We have a really vibrant immigrant and refugee community in Minneapolis, St. Paul. So we have had people focus on working with our local global community. We have an international adoption clinic that's a really neat learning experience. And we've been doing some cool Zoom stuff. So like this morning in Grand Rounds, the session was co-led by U of M faculty and a Nigerian faculty. We had residents from Haiti who Zoomed in to one of our academic half-day sessions. And then focusing on the Native American opportunities as well have been some of the things that we've been trying and hoping for a return to travel when it's safe.
Hey, this is Ross Newman at Children's Mercy. If I can echo on top of that, our global health leaders here in Kansas City, I think, partner a lot with the University of Minnesota team and some others across the Midwest for setting that global health education standard. And if you want to travel internationally or do you want to do global health, I think there's kind of a separation there. And without the travel piece, there's still a ton to learn about global health. And we focus a lot more on local global, which includes all the things that have already been mentioned. And so working with immigrant populations, or how are you applying your global health knowledge to your local community, which can be done without traveling and with that same level of expertise.
This is Rupa from the Cleveland Clinic. I will add that, we have also kind of had to adapt to a local global model for our global health elective. We do also have a refugee population here, and we have a partner in the community who sees the majority of those patients that we have been able to send our residents to rotate with. We also have a resident who's doing a longitudinal continuity clinic with the refugee clinic as well. So that's also an option. We have also taken advantage of bilingual clinics, international adoption clinics, TB clinic, things like that you may not see a lot of in your primary care practice, but we have opportunities to send our residents to those as well, in addition to the online modules that have been referenced before.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zubair from Midwestern University. Thank you so much for organizing this event. Quick question for the program directors. How has resident life, like resident outings and everything, been affected with the pandemic, and how has that been adapted this year?
Hi, this is Jerry Rushton from IU. Yeah, it's a great question. And of course, all of us as frontline workers, we crave that social and connection part of things too, yet wanting to be good stewards of our university policies and all those things. So I think it's smaller groups, outdoor things. We were able to have our teaching retreat last week, but really just pivoting and trying to kind of ride the Corona coaster as it comes in that way too. But I think maybe not, we used to have these big, multiple guest, holiday dance things as well too, but some of the smaller groups in that way as well too. And that can be just as meaningful. So I'll let others speak to this too, but I think pediatricians are kind of creative people that we need that energy to keep each other going and see each other out of work in this long haul. So I'll let others speak to that, but we've done that mixed to balance because we are seeing, some cases, of course, creep up even among house staff, still lower than the general population, but we want to make sure even though 99% are vaccinated that we don't create those other strains on the system, but it's a balance for sure. Maybe segueing into that too, we've done a lot of trying to have small group in-person education. So we've got a lot of feedback. You can only take so much Zoom. Apologies for tonight as well too, and interview season, but it cuts both ways. Sometimes like I'm in clinic, it's nice to jump into grand rounds, but also in terms of wellness, I think should be a good topic to consider on the interview trail, how people pivoted and adapted to have this combination of some rich small group discussions as well as your broader didactics that might be Zoom, but we're kind of in a hybrid that way. It just made me think as another adaptation of virtual kind of wellness education groups as well.
Yeah, sorry. For Loyola, along the same line. So a lot of our resident activities, Chicago during like a very brief 4 to 6 week window really had very minimal restrictions. And so the residents were able to kind of like see each other, wear masks when they were indoors and kind of hang outside without masks. And so we were actually able to have an intern barbecue welcome this year. And then as far as conferences, our institution has put a mandate on like 25 or less in person. So we were able to have like a core group of people there in person to do morning report, noon conference, et cetera, and then Zoom in everyone else from satellite locations.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay. So Dr. Chu mentioned that at CMU, there are opportunities to work with child and adolescent psychiatry fellows. And I was wondering if other program directors could touch on kind of how their residents learn about pediatric mental health.
That's the other way you know you're in the Midwest. We're all like, oh, you go, no, you go. I would love to hear your experience, Jerry, with the triple board program. I'm sure you have tons of cool cross-pollination. I mean, we all have developmental behavioral peds and adolescent rotations. Those are required. We've looped in our child and adolescent psych fellows to lead seminars during the adolescent rotation, which has been really cool. We have a couple of different elective options for residents. One is in the partial day treatment program, and one is more focused on outpatient. So you can really see a couple different lenses. And then we have a grant to pilot in clinic consultation with psychiatry or psychology over Zoom. That's been a really cool new project.
That is that Midwest nice. You go first. No, you go. But yeah, we have one of 10 triple board programs, child psychiatry, adult, and peds together. So there's a lot of cross-pollination in that way too. But no matter where you go, you're going to see psychiatry issues. So I'm a general pediatrician. That's huge. The pandemic, it's huge. And there's so many needs. And you as pediatricians are going to be taking care of them. And even if you go into peds GI, of course, functional abdominal pain. So I'm glad you're asking that question. And so I think a lot of us in peds have pivoted that to partner with folks. And there's also social works like psychologists, adolescent medicine. There's a lot of gender health issues, teen issues. So we're fortunate to have our own kind of triple board folks, but I imagine many programs incorporate those aspects. And we in particular for our primary care track emphasize extra electives because developmental behavioral versus the teen and eating disorders and psychopharmacology that many pediatricians get into, you need all those aspects. So I'll let others comment, but I'm glad you're asking, it's critical.
At the Cleveland Clinic, we have, of course, there's a behavioral health rotation, one of our core rotations that our residents will go through, where they will rotate with psychiatry as well as psychology and our developmental pediatricians. We have also had residents who have been interested and have done a second continuity clinic with our pediatric psychiatrists. And we have actually a model that we've integrated into our continuity clinic sites for integrated primary care psychology, where we have psychologists actually embedded in our primary care practices, and we pull them in for various mental health concerns, as well as more general behavioral concerns. And so we've really kind of tried to integrate our teams in that way as well. So our residents are very used to leaning on our mental health providers and are learning a little bit of how they can manage these things on their own as well.
All right, I do have a question. My name's Joe. I'm from Rocky Vista in Colorado, osteopathic medicine. I'm a fourth year, and I was wondering, obviously last year was the first year of all of these virtual interviews and virtual season. Do you guys have any general tips that you would give a group of fourth years about to navigate this process? Some lessons learned, just anything very general.
I think taking advantage of one-on-one, we realize huge group Zooms are kind of difficult. So we all kind of pivoted to have breakouts, use the downtime. I guess like anything, it's any job interview, do your homework so you can tailor some questions. There's a little bit more difficulty to kind of jump into things at first. So if you have some of your own, oh, I see that you have a large population of this. Tell me more about that. I'm interested in global health, or those type of things. I think, it's a two-way street. You can certainly ask questions as well as just answer them. So we really like people to be conversational. And I think on Zoom especially, it's not as awkward as it seems, but I think, again, pediatricians pretty approachable folks, but just take advantage of that one-on-one time. And even if you think you might know the answer, triangulate and ask a resident, faculty member, the program director, what's, you to think about whatever it might be, research or education, those things too. So I think making it a conversation, especially in the one-on-ones, and a lot of us are happy to do follow-up things too. So we all get a little Zoom fatigued. I hope nobody asked you to be on for 10 or 12 hours. So we're happy to kind of connect you offline as well too. All this process is about finding the good fit together. So that'd be my advice, I think.
If I can throw in there, the only thing I will add is please don't worry about technology. I know that was a big stress going into the virtual season last year. Would technology fail? Would something not work? And that would either negatively or positively impact kind of your rank. We had enough technology glitches where we did a phone interview as opposed to a Zoom interview or something along those lines, and it doesn't change your rank, and it's nothing from a negative standpoint. And so don't stress about technology. Do those other interview tips like people are talking about, and enjoy the process.
And I think ultimately it's finding the right fit for you. So making sure that you ask the questions, kind of ways to ask about the surroundings through different people you're interviewing with, whether it be the residents or the attendings, so you can get an idea about what the program is like, what the area is like, what hopefully nightlife or social life will be in the future, after we get through this. But I think it's, it makes it a little bit trickier, but you really want to be able to make sure that it's a right program for you. So really, asking the right questions, making sure you kind of, as Dr. Rushton from IU said, just kind of doing your research and then asking the residents about certain things that you want to know about that would make it, resident life is hard, but obviously there are some rewarding parts to it. So you're going to want to ask about that as well too.
I just might offer a parting word because I've been meeting with a lot of our fourth year students. When we say in pediatrics that we do a holistic review, it means we look at everything. And I don't want a single one of you to be stressing out about your step 1 or your step 2 CK score. We just want you to pass. We care about you as a person and your skills as a pediatrician.
Thank you so much for all the great insight and tips. We're gonna break out to our big thing. So if you guys could just put your emails or I think not emails, but websites so everybody can have them, that would be great. And thank you so much. Thank you.